lipids. But more serious, I mean, this is all getting stored as fat every time now, which is a problem. But I am also desensitizing my cells to insulin because it's too much insulin. The system is flooded with insulin. So if you think about how our senses work, if I took some perfume in here and I sprayed a whole bunch of it through the room, at first you'd be like, oh, that's horrible. But if we just sat in it for a little while, you wouldn't smell it anymore, right? When your senses are inundated with a stimuli, eventually they stop paying attention to it, they ignore it. And that's what happens to your cells. If they're continuously being bathed in huge amounts of insulin, they start ignoring it. And they become insulin resistant. That's what insulin resistant means. And that's what happens with type 2 diabetics. That now their body, so that sugar level's high, it's an emergency for your body, but the cells aren't uptaking, not the fat cells and not the muscle cells. So now their blood is becoming toxic. And their body's releasing more and more insulin to try to deal with that, to try to get these cells, hey, come on, open up, take some of this energy. At a certain point, their lives are now at risk, right? And that's where you'll hear about diabetic amputations, for example. Because basically what happens when the sugar is in the blood, when the sugar levels are too high, it becomes like sludge. The blood doesn't flow very well. And so it will pool in lower extremities, for example, because gravity will keep it down there, it won't pump anymore. And so no fresh blood is getting, feet are a common one. I know somebody who had a diabetic amputation of his foot. So his foot died because the blood was just not flowing. So they cut it off because it goes gangrene. So they have to cut it off. And they'll go blind and those sorts of things. So that's what happens in the extreme cases when this is done for long periods of time.
How stress influenced all this? Because I know I can maintain it very well. But once I get stressed, that's when even if I eat well, which I've been eating for the last 2 weeks very well, but I still...
So cortisol is the stress hormone, and this is what we release when we're stressed all the time. And cortisol makes you insulin resistant. So it makes your cells less responsive to the insulin. And so that's why if you're chronically stressed, you're probably going to also have problems with overweight and with appetite regulation and your ability to respond to that insulin. So stress is a really big part, and this can be from overtraining too. We'll see this in athletes who overtrain. They're very fit, they're performing well, and they're still kind of chunky. They're eating clean, but they can't get rid of their love handles. Cortisol, because training is a stress. It causes inflammation, just like eating causes inflammation. And so if you're never giving your body time to rest and recover and bring that inflammation back down, then you end up becoming insulin resistant. So overtraining is same as stress.
So what do you do? Like, how do you manage? Say if you have no choice for work, like it is stressful, like there is not much I can do instead of quitting. I understand that option, but say that is not an option at this particular moment. What do you do? How do you, balance it out?
Change your outlook.
For?
If you screw up in your job, who dies?
Nobody.
If you screw up in your job 5 years from now, who's going to remember? Who's going to care?
Nobody.
10 years from now, what difference is it going to make in the world?
None.
Next generation. Quit taking yourself so goddamn seriously. That's the best advice I ever heard. Stop taking yourself so seriously. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a soldier. What I do here is not life and death. I get stressed. Sure, I get stressed. But is what I'm doing the most important thing in the world? Probably not. Only to me.
And sleep.
Sleep is the other one. So, this is really key. Sleep, a good quality sleep, makes you much more insulin sensitive. So you can actually get away with eating a little bit sloppy. If you slept really well, your body will take those carbs up very nicely. If you are sleep deprived, guess what happens? Your cortisol levels go up and you become insulin resistant. So sleep is good. Makes you insulin sensitive. And I had that experience when we went to the Harrison Hot Springs Hotel. So my whole plan, they got a nice buffet there. And so we went there on a Friday night. My plan was the next morning to just pig out of the buffet. I've been eating clean all year. Actually, like 2014, I was amazingly an angel, right? And so I'm thinking I'm gonna pig out. That night, the room next to us had a shrieking child. Not a crying child, a shrieking child. And the parents were either really sound sleepers or they believe in the philosophy of just let the kid cry themselves to sleep all fucking night.
Oh God.
I finally got to sleep at 5 a.m.
That's awful.
This is my holiday. I'm like, thanks so much for the holiday. I had worked that morning at 4:15 and now I've been up 24 hours. So I slept about 3 hours. We hit the buffet at 8 a.m. and I had some eggs, some sausage, and I had a few hash browns, like hash brown potatoes. And my sugar levels spiked. Like I could feel, I get trembly, shaky, my mood, I was like really unhappy, really uncomfortable. And I realized I could not bear to have any other carbs on that table because I would just be messed up for the rest of the day. So that was day one. Day two, thankfully, they left. Maybe somebody kicked them out, I don't know. Or maybe they throttled the child. And I think in this case, I understand why.
It might be a bad thing.
I would totally testify in their favor if that was the case. Anyhow, so the next night, perfectly quiet. I was asleep at 10 o'clock. I slept right through till 8. I woke up feeling awesome. I went to the buffet. I didn't overdo it, but I had a pancake, I had a little bit of French toast, I had a little bit of this and that, plus my hash browns, and so I had some good solid carbs. Fine. Nothing, not a blip. It didn't affect me at all. And so it's quite dramatic the difference this can make.
So Hans, is 8 hours is the good time? That's the magic number?
8 hours seems to be around the magic time. And that's going to have some genetic fluctuation from one individual to another.
Yeah, you go to 9.
9. Yeah, me too. 8 is not enough.
I know, it's crazy, but
you'll know, you're well rested, you feel good.
So potentially, if you don't take it too seriously, but you still stressed. And I'm not talking about like crazy stress. Like I'm just saying there's a few deadlines and you won't be able to make them and blah, 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 blah. So can you balance it out with sleep? So if you make sure you get your 8 hours, would that make it insulin neutral?
Well, it will help. Like, so I think all of this is checks and balances, right?
Yeah.
So if you have very low stress, you're sleeping really well, you can probably have some French toast for breakfast pretty frequently and you're probably okay, especially if you're training as well, and you don't have any genetic predispositions to diabetes and things like that. Your life is nice and balanced. Probably you can eat kind of sloppy, and you hear about people, I know, guys like Freddie Camacho, who's a famous CrossFitter, like he's having beer and pizza, the guy's ripped and fit, looks great. Well, he trains a lot. Again, so here's a guy who's training 3 times a day. It's a totally different thing. Like his body is burning through way more of the sugar. Like he has to eat that way almost to be able to continue to perform. So that's a different level. We'll talk about that in a second. But so you'll meet these people who seem like genetic freaks that they can eat what they want and they don't seem to put on weight, they don't seem to get unhealthy, but chances are they might have good genetics, but maybe they're balancing out the other pieces of their life better. So for me, I don't have perfect control over my sleep because I have to be up at 4:15 to be here, and my wife doesn't like to be in bed until 10. I mean, I argue and I fight and I complain about once every 2 or 3 months, and for about a week she'll come to bed on time, so I can get an 8-hour sleep, and then she just starts drifting back to her 10:30 or whatever, and the school guy doesn't get up in the morning. So, and she's somebody who likes 10 hours of sleep, so go figure. Anyhow, so I can't control all of those pieces, and yes, there's stress and things like that, so I have to control the pieces I can, so I control my food. I can control what I put in my mouth.
Which is the easiest.
Yeah.
Piece to control.
I seem to remember too on something that through what you sent was that sleep actually helps to digest cortisol. So like
it helps reduce cortisol.
Or reduce it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, if you do what you need to, another way to bring cortisol down, this works fantastically. Take a walk in the woods or on the beach. A walk in nature. Beautiful. Meditation. Some people use meditation. I hate meditation. I can't sit still. Don't lock me alone in my own head. My cortisol levels go up just... Whoa, stressful. But for some people, they find that wonderful. You know, a relaxing activity, whatever that is for you, that's going to help balance it out.
So question for you, talking about resting.
Yeah.
Well, resting is important for both work and... What is the definition of rest? Like, how do you define rest and for how long that you know that your body has rested?
Are you talking about for managing cortisol?
Sure.
Or are you talking about managing overtraining?
No, I don't have that problem right now.
Both. I'd like to hear about this.
Sure. Well, I think when you're no longer feeling stressed out and you feel relaxed, like you know that feeling like all the weight is off?
So
that's when you know you're resting. I don't think it's a long thing.
How long do you need to be in that state to be able to kind of, say, recharge, you know?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know that there is an answer to that. I think that's going to be individual and circumstance dependent. And sometimes you just need a little breather, step out from the office, until everything doesn't feel so important and so stressful, and then you go back in and you tackle all your things and you feel okay. Sometimes you need a weekend away. You need to go away on a cruise. Maybe you need a week away. That's what vacations are for, right? To go and de-stress. So sometimes we need some long ones, sometimes we need some short ones. I think every day we need some short ones. And so I think that's going to vary from individual to individual, circumstance to circumstance. I don't think there's a right, wrong answer, but you will know because you'll feel refreshed and ready to go again.
So if you got to that point, right, and you're refreshed and stuff, but then you go back to your life and you're super stressed again, does that mean you didn't refresh very well, or you're not managing your life very well, or a bit of both?
You mean like the moment you step in the office, your stress level?
No, not the moment. Like by lunch.
Oh, it's going to climb. I mean, that's
that's
cycle,
normal.
Right? That's a cycle. So the thing to keep in mind is our bodies were designed to deal with acute stress. Stress is not bad, right? Exercise is stress. Stress is good, and it's important to look at stress as good. Chronic, continuous stress is not good, and our bodies were not designed to deal with that. Our bodies were designed to deal with incredibly high-stress situations like that saber-toothed tiger is going to eat me and my babies, right? And your stress levels go through the roof, and you're in fight or flight survival mode, and then you survive. And it's like, oh my God, I'm okay, I survived, and you're relaxed. You're not thinking, oh, but I have my income tax to do. You know, you don't have that on your mind. You're just like, I survived, in danger, now I can go on, enjoy my life. And then something else happens, you know, like so-and-so steals the food that you were just out gathering, and, you know, you have to knock them over the head and take it back, you know. You have another stressful moment. And that's what we were designed for, is these intermittent spurts of incredibly high stress. What we have in our lives today is this low-level stress of, oh, I've got bills and I've got some work, I've got to take care of a project that's overdue, and you know, I also have to get this done and pick that up from the dry cleaners, and this low-level non-emergency stress that gradually builds and builds and builds, and there's no release because there's always a little bit more. So I sometimes like to tackle it. I'm a list person, as you are sometimes, I believe, as well. I like to have, like, this is my to-do list. Bang, 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 high stress, go, 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 done, done. That's it, end of my day, right? And I don't care if it's 10 a.m. and I got through my to-do list, the rest of the day is mine, right? And there's other things that need to get done, but I'm not even thinking about them until the next day. And I'm not saying I'm not the guru of stress management. I'm truly not. I'm really not. I'm sure there's people who do this much better than I do. But you want to try to keep it so that you control your stress and compartmentalize it as much as you can, so you have downtime so you can just relax and enjoy life. Makes sense? And then overtraining. and knowing how much rest you need.